False Timeline Episode 13 to 14. Due to the appearance of the High Priest, Leopard and his guys left in disgrace. In the restaurant, there was a lot of noise and chatter. Luke and his group were chatting at a large table in a corner of the restaurant. What a coincidence. I just want to introduce my high school best friend Bella, Catherine said. Charlie replied, learning martial arts is for justice. These villains were chasing you in the streets. Of course we have to stop them. Luke interrupted, Charlie, it was Sophie who did the job. We were actually watching. Sophie, you are great. Sophie said, I was just doing what I could. If Luke hadn't caught me, I would fall badly. High Priest Eric said, when Leopard attacked you, I planned to stop him. But I didn't expect that you'd kick the 3 people down so fast. That's amazing. Sophie has been learning martial arts for a while. And she's been on the gymnastics team since high school. This is her profession. Bella bragged. Sophie whispered. Bella, don't brag about me. Later, the topics of conversation made Sophie feel bored. The only reason she came to the dinner was to meet Catherine, the girl that Luke pursued. Maybe she just cared about Luke. It's kind of boring. Sophie thought. If I get out of my body, no one will pay attention to me anyway. Sophie was planning to go out of her body. And then she did it. She left her body. Without face-changing glasses, Sophie showed her original appearance. It feels like sneaking out to play, Sophie thought. Sophie suddenly got some ideas for fun. They cannot see me, touch me, or hear me. Sophie started making faces at the High Priest. The nasty High Priest controlled me with spells. Make a face for revenge. Ha! Stinky Priest. Hello, Mr. Air Conditioner. She pretended to talk to Charlie. Then Sophie looked at Luke. Tada! Guess what? I'm Sue. Then she blushed and was thinking. He won't feel it anyway. Kiss him secretly? After 1 second, Sophie suddenly returned to her senses. Oh my goodness. How come I want to kiss him? It is so humiliating. Sophie turned around. All at once, Sophie heard something weird. Help, help me. A weak cry for help. Sophie was sweating. Her greatest fear is to encounter ghosts when she is out of her body. The ghosts can see her soul. Help me please. They are eating me. A female ghost with a long tongue said. They? What are they? Sophie said while shaking. Sophie's question was soon answered. A foot appeared on the ghost's head. And then the foot stomped the ghost's head into the ground in one fell swoop. They are zombies. Yummy. I could smell a fresh soul. A zombie was chewing and said. And then they stopped moving and looked at Sophie. Sophie was shaking and her feet were stiff. Legs. How come I cannot move? Sophie was crying. But she didn't realize that the zombies also saw something big behind her. The zombie began to roar above her. Why are the zombies roaring above me? Is it? Sophie felt a chill throughout her body and turned her head slowly. Oh. Eek. She saw a huge monster behind her. The monster roared back at the zombies. Sophie was frightened to crawl back to her body with weak legs. Bella, your sister is sleeping. Someone said that. Bella replied, she often takes naps like this. Just leave her alone. Take naps? Luke was thinking. Why does she feel so much like Sue to me? Her voice. Sue also takes naps like her. And the feeling of holding her, with her scent. Oh, what's wrong with me? How can I think of Sue in everything? Luke checked his phone but no message from Sue. In the meantime, Sophie's soul returned back to her body. I'm back. That's horrible. Sophie said with a cold sweat and a sigh of relief. You're awake? Did you just have a nightmare? You look very pale. Andy asked with concern. Andy, I feel like this place is haunted. Does anyone in your academy have special abilities to look around? Sophie said. What? Haunted? Luke and Andy were shocked. Henry. This place seems haunted. Check it with your psychic eye. Andy said to Henry. Sure. Henry said with surprise. High Priest Eric interrupted. The Academy stipulates that secret force cannot be used casually outside. Besides, the spirit world cannot affect us. It's not good to explore it. Sophie said in a panic, Mr. Priest, I can sense something scary around. The High Priest said with a frown. Gosh. I can't stand girls like this. Henry, take a look with your psychic eye. Hanei answered, Okay. Then Henry started to use his psychic eye. Bella talked to Sophie unhappily. Sophie, don't start panicking when you wake up. Every time your nightmares are about seeing monsters. Sophie replied, It's real. At this moment Henry was terrified and said, Holy cow. There are so many zombies around you. Henry, don't scare me. There are many zombies around me? Sophie asked in a panic. Can you see them? They're looking for something in your body. Henry answered seriously. In another space, many zombies surrounded Sophie, emitting a dull scream, as if they were searching for Sophie's soul. Sophie was crying, I don't want to be targeted by zombies. Zombies are around you? How can this happen? You really feel them. The High Priest said seriously. Sophie, hold this Sun Lum sword. The sword is a heavenly weapon. It can shock other space realms. The monsters in the spirit world should be afraid of it. The High Priest gave her the Sun Lum sword. Sophie held the sword tightly and said, Will it work? The High Priest checked with Henry. A lot of zombies around her? Henry answered, Yes. The High Priest opened his palm and a golden-colored fireball appeared in his palm. Then the fireball slowly floated towards Sophie and dispersed. Sophie felt a warm breeze blowing. In another space, all the zombies were burned by fire and screamed incessantly.